This meeting is being recorded. Okay, so this is me here. My name is Vikas, and I work as a senior cloud architect in one of the big four companies here in Bangalore. I have overall of 12 years of experience, 7 years from past 7 years. I've been working on AWS, cloud, DevOps, Kubernetes. So all these things is what I have been working on. So till now, I have built a lot of websites, online gaming applications, migrated a lot of projects from on-prem to cloud environment, and I'm not a full-time trainer. This is what you have understood by this time of now. I'm not a full-time trainer. I come from the industry. I do spare my free time to teach people. Okay, I see that the quality education lags in our overall society because nobody takes the teaching professional that seriously. Okay, so if I say I'm a teacher, I'm also not taken that seriously. So what I do is I do my 9 to 5 job, and then whenever I get time, I do teaching. And I'm very proudly saying that if I have taught 1,000, 10,000 members till this date, most of them are placed. Why? Because the training which I'm going to give you is a real-time hands-on oriented training, a training which will be mostly practical oriented, hands-on oriented. So when you go for an interview, you go for a job change, nobody will ask you, tell me what is S3, tell me why we need DevOps. They'll ask you, what have you done in the project? What are the real-time challenges you have faced? How did you solve that problem? What is your day-to-day activity? So when you come across these questions, you will be able to answer only when you work or when you get trained from a person like me, who comes from the industry, gives you the first-hand experience of what is happening in a live project, how a client is coming to you, how you are implementing that project, how you are working with that. Okay, so this is what we generally do. Going ahead, we will be concentrating on this aspect. So we will be talking about DevSecOps and AWS Cloud. Okay, so if you go to just Google, don't trust me, just go to Google and say top 5 trending technologies in 2021. You will see DevOps and AWS are there at the top. Why? Because most of the companies are either migrating to cloud or trying to implement DevOps. So there is a huge demand of quality DevOps engineer in our industry right now. So just to share a few numbers, if you see this, in 2019, companies were spending some $4 billion for DevOps, but this number is going to increase like $17 billion by 2026. So this DevOps AWS market is going to expand nearly 5 times. It means I get a job opportunity very, very easily. But if you go to a YouTube channel, you go to a trainer who himself doesn't know things, and he will say, hey, learn Git and Ansible, it is done. It is not like that. It is not learning about tools. It is about how you implement them on a real-time project level. So let's get started. So when I talk about our IT industry, what are we doing in the IT industry? So we do software development. So when I say software development, it means a customer will come to me. He will come with a requirement. He will say, I need this kind of a software. So I'm opening an online portal where I want customers to come, buy, do payment, and then I will ship the product to them. So I get the requirement. As a senior cloud architect, I just design the application for them, show it to the customer. The customer is happy. I do talk on the commercials on when I will be delivering the product and all those things. And then I pass it to my developers. The developers start developing the application. They write the code. Now, let me say I'm developing an Android application. So they write the code in Android and they keep it ready. Then they will do testing. Finally, they will deploy. Then the maintenance thing or the support thing starts. Now, if this is what we have been doing over the ages, why all of a sudden DevOps came into picture? What is this DevOps? So in DevOps is also a methodology of developing a software. Okay, but this methodology brings some additional features like time to market. So this particular methodology brings a lot of new features. Like today, if I go to a customer and say that I will develop the software for you in 6 months, and another company is coming and saying, I will develop the software for you in 1 month. Obviously, the company will go for the one who is developing in 1 month. Time to market. How quickly can you deliver the product to the customer? Quality. How good quality your software is. If you have two websites, one is not that good, the other one has a quality software, it is very much secure, you will obviously want to go with the secure and the quality website. So as a customer, I'm looking for quality, I'm looking for security. So as a business, I will also go for an IT company which will give me all these things, and these things can be given to you by DevOps. Because when we talk about the methodologies which we were using earlier, like waterfall model or agile model, so it doesn't talk about the security feature, when it will implement, how quickly it can deliver it to the client. They are not talking about these features. So if you see waterfall model, right, it is time consuming. Agile, also time consuming. But when you talk about DevOps, it is code, test, deploy, code, test, deploy. So you deploy at a regular basis. So if I just say you that there are companies who are deploying like 10,000 times, 5,000 times in a particular day, you will say, no, 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 you're not saying the correct thing. Yes, that's the truth. Companies like Amazon, they make changes 23,000 times in a day and they deploy it. Google, 5,500 times. Netflix, 500 times. Facebook, once at least in one day. So if you see these companies, they are rapidly doing the changes, implementing those changes and deploying it to production. How they are able to do it? Because they are using DevOps. And the companies which I showed you right now, Amazon, Google, Facebook, these are the major IT companies and everybody knows about that. So when I talk about DevOps, I'll be talking about microservices, I'll be talking about containers, I'll be talking about cloud. We will not be talking about VMs, hosted environment, physical servers, and all those things. So when we talk about DevOps, before we jump into DevOps, there are many rumors. So we should clarify the rumors, like what these rumors are. So somebody will say DevOps is a tool. Somebody will say DevOps is a team. Somebody will say DevOps is a script. No, DevOps is not all these things. DevOps is change in the mindset. How will you develop the software? So here we will be talking about agility, means how quickly can you adapt. So if the customer comes to me and says, hey boss, the requirement which I gave you last time, can you make change? Can you do this change? If you are agile enough to adapt, the customer is happy. The customer pays you, the company pays you back. So with DevOps, agility comes into picture. You want the work to be done faster. So you have to automate the process, in the sense you cannot do manual things. So automation comes into picture. So when automation comes into picture, a lot of tools like Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, Terraform will come into picture. And these tools have some best practices. So these best practices is what we will implement. So I say DevOps is a cultural change. The way you develop the software has been changed. So the CEO of Amazon, so he was into a session and somebody asked him, can you tell me what is DevOps? He told, in my company, DevOps means that if I give you a task, you are the developer, you are the tester, you are the one who's going to deploy it, you are going to put it on the server. So you are like one man army who is going to do everything. So DevOps is that only. So as a DevOps engineer, sometime you will be asked to do coding, sometime you will be asked to do development, sometime testing, sometime production deployment. So you work as an all-rounder. So you see a cricket match, right? So there is a specialist batsman, there is a specialist bowler, there is a specialist wicket keeper. But when you say all-rounder, he can do everything. At times he will be asked to do bowling. At times he will be asked to do wicket keeping, sometimes fielding, sometimes he will say carry the water bottle. Somebody he will be asked to do batting. So we at this point of time need DevOps engineers. We need these all-rounders who can work with our IT industry. Now, what was the problem earlier? So I told you time consuming. The second is that there was a huge gap between developer and operations guy. So a developer is never aware what is happening in operation side. Production support guy is not aware what is the developer doing. The developer is not aware what tester is doing. Tester is not aware what network team is doing. So each team was working separate. Now what we have done is we have brought each one of them together so that so now what we have done is we have brought everyone together so that each one of us work as a team. So when I say DevOps engineer, you are working as an all-rounder and you do everything end to end. So as a DevOps engineer, sometimes they may ask you to develop, they may ask you to build, they may ask you to test, they may again ask you to deploy, monitor, and this keeps happening. So you do development, you do operations, you do quality assurance, you do testing. So now the DevOps is not only DevOps, it is DevSecOps, means security aspect is also coming into picture. Let me say you have designed a application which is very much good, but when customers are going to buy something, you end up sharing their credit card details with everybody. So your website is not secure. People will not come to your website. So make sure that when you are designing an application, you keep the security aspect also in your mind. So that is what DevSecOps is. Now today, the question will be asked is, how can I become a DevOps engineer? You told that DevOps engineer is very good. DevOps engineer is paid like anything. Ajit, can you go on mute? I'm not able to mute you. Thank you. So now the question is, how can I become a DevOps engineer? So to become a DevOps engineer, you have to be patient. You have to learn a lot of things. Like you have to learn some programming language like Python. You have to learn some scripting language like Unix shell scripting, Python scripting, or maybe shell scripting like this. So we will teach you all those things. Okay. I'm showing you because I'll teach you all these things. Then you will need to learn some version control tool and project management tool like Jira or Git. You will have to learn some build automation tool like Maven, some configuration management tool like Ansible, CI/CD tool, Jenkins, test automation tool, Selenium, logging and monitoring tool, Prometheus and Grafana, database management tool, MySQL, containerization tool, Docker, container orchestration tool, Kubernetes, cloud computing, AWS, infrastructure automation tool, Terraform. So basically in this training, what we will do is we see that there are a lot of tools available in the market. So we pick the major tools available in the market and we start implementing them in our project. So we start something like this. So when you come to me, I assume that you have zero knowledge of IT industry. You don't know what is coding, how do we work. So we start from the very scratch. We start from the basics of Linux, shell scripting, and then we take you a step ahead where we say, okay, you are a practitioner level. Here we teach you what is CI/CD. When I say continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing, what do I mean by that? How do I do that? Then next level is proficient, where we start talking about deployment, we start talking about infrastructure as code, we start talking about configuration management. So basically we learn tools like Ansible, Terraform, Docker here. Then you go a step ahead, we start learning about the deployment orchestration tools like Kubernetes, you learn cloud, you learn monitoring. So we learn all these things step by step. So to become a DevOps engineer, you will be learning along with me, and we will be building a CI/CD pipeline like this, where we will endlessly plan, code, build, test. Jenkins will integrate everything. Then we deploy, operate, monitor, and this will continue for a very long duration of time. So as a DevOps engineer, what are you going to do in a company? So as a DevOps engineer, if the CI/CD pipeline is already there, you will just go and start using it. You will enhance it, you will maintain it. But if it is not there, you will start from scratch. You will build it from scratch. If some automation is needed, you will write scripts to automate that, like Ansible playbooks, shell scripting. All this is what is needed. Okay. Then you do server side specification, how to design your application. So Ansible and all we will learn, where we will talk how we will take care of this. Then you do monitor. Once the application is ready to be deployed, you deploy it to prod and you do application monitoring. So this is all what we as a DevOps engineer do. So what are the tools which you will be learning here? So you will learn Git, GitHub, SonarQube, Jira, Nexus, Jenkins, Maven, JUnit, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Nginx, Apache, Tomcat, MySQL. Then you have Prometheus, Grafana, Terraform, Node Exporter, and all these things we'll be doing on a cloud environment. So we will not be doing anything on our local machine. Rather, we will be doing everything on a cloud environment. So when it comes to DevOps, I do teach DevOps in multiple ways. Means there are multiple ways in which you can implement DevOps. So one of the ways is open source. So when I say open source, you start using Git, Ansible, then your Docker, Kubernetes. So we use these open source tools and we start learning them. Then there is another way of implementing DevOps, which is Azure DevOps. So I teach you Azure DevOps using the Azure tools. Then there is AWS DevOps. So I teach you how to implement AWS DevOps using tools like code build, code deploy. So there are tools which are there in AWS environment. There are tools which are there in Azure environment. So I will teach you this. So this is called managed DevOps. So managed environment basically. And this is open source environment. So this is how I will teach you Kubernetes. Sorry, this is how I'll teach you DevOps in both ways, in Kubernetes, in Azure and AWS, also on open source. So this will make you full-fledged a DevOps engineer, where you get a clear understanding of what is happening, why it is happening, and how it is happening. So whenever you learn something, you should ask all these things. Why am I doing this? How am I doing this? What am I doing this? So if you ask these kind of questions, you will get answers and all the doubts will be cleared. So I'll stop here for a while before I go into AWS. I'll open this for questions. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. I'll be more than happy to answer any sort of questions which is related to this topic.
So Vikas, this is Ashish.
Yeah, Ashish.
Hello, are you able to
Ashish.
hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
So when you are talking about DevOps, code testing, deploy, everything, are you going to cover Chef and Puppet also?
No, Chef and Puppet I don't cover.
Okay. And will you be like, when you are talking AWS and when you are talking Azure, are you going to cover some GCP tools also?
Okay, see, when you go for a training, okay, we generally do a generic training. When I say generic training, in the sense, tools which are generally used by the industry. But there are some companies who have some company specific requirement. Like, let me say, so if you go to the graphical study of saying that how many companies are using GCP, so the count will be less, but the count for AWS will be more. So we concentrate on AWS more, Azure second, and GCP third. But let me say you have a requirement of GCP and you have a requirement of Chef and Puppet. Okay. So we have folks, we call them over a weekend batch. Okay. And there we take it separately, because this is not the part of the mainstream, but it's a person specific or a company specific requirement. So we will conduct those classes separately, not as part of this curriculum.
Okay. Thank you.
Vikas, Ajit here.
Yeah.
So just I want to know, in AWS and Azure, we have multiple scaling things, auto scaling, and the security concerns, like how to secure your infra. like from the multiple attacks. So those things will be covered, and
Yes.
auto scaling also will be covered in
Yes,
this.
yes, yes. See, as of now, I'm only talking about DevOps. When you want auto scaling, load balancing, then the various ways in which you can safeguard your application, like DDoS attack is one virus. DDoS is denial of service attack. So those kind of
Yes.
things I'll cover on the AWS side. So in AWS,
Okay.
just want to show you before I just. Yep.
And one more, we have multiple super attacks which need to be secured with our, even if you are converting that to SSL as well, we have multiple super attacks which will come up across the SSL certificate. So beyond that also will be covered, like how we can secure our applications from multiple super attacks.
Okay. See, we do this. I cannot like tell you that. Okay, if then you have to tell me what kind of attack you're talking about. See, DDoS and all
At least the basic attacks which will
yes,
be like
that will be covered. The SSL
yes.
certification and all those related attacks will be covered. But if it is something which is new or something, again, it is very specific, let me say, to
Correct.
your
Understood.
requirement, then I
Yes.
will call you separately for that, and the separate thing will be taken care of that. So the generic training or the mainstream training should not get affected from a particular requirement is what my motto is here.
Understood. Clear.
Fine. Thank you. Any more question, guys?
Vikas, I have a question.
Yeah.
So actually, when you say it's DevOps, we have large number of tools: Docker, Ansible, Kubernetes. So all these things are there. But how exactly it is possible in 60 hours? Because
Okay.
when we are, so I am new to DevOps, and I want to, I'm learning Docker. Say I'm learning Docker, but I don't know how exactly the company implements Docker. No, we don't have any code. I'm not a coder, and I don't know to code. So how using Docker, I have to implement it.
Okay.
How do I know that?
Yes. Now, this is a very generic doubt which trainers have when they join. See, when you go for a company, okay, they judge you on two parameters. What is the breadth of the knowledge? The spelling is wrong, please bear with that. And what is the depth of the knowledge? Now, if I say Docker, to implement Docker, or let me say AWS, this is Docker. Now, to implement this on a generic pipeline, how much knowledge is what I need? Maybe I need this much knowledge. But if you say that I'm an expert on Docker, then you may further go down. Further deep knowledge is what you need. So if I classify the knowledge like this: basic, intermediate, expert. So obviously I'm not going to at the expert level, because my motto here is not only to teach Docker. So I will stay here at intermediate level, touch upon the expert level, and just come back. So when you say I want to learn Kubernetes, so Kubernetes itself is a topic which may take 1 month or 30 days, bare minimum I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'll make you a Kubernetes expert. I'm telling you, I'll make you a DevOps engineer. So as a DevOps engineer, how much Kubernetes is needed, I will cover that. But your requirement is, I want Kubernetes in depth. No worries. We have trainers, we have people who will take separate batches for there, and they will make you very much comfortable with Kubernetes. Okay, I do take Kubernetes and Docker also, but that is a separate thing altogether. We concentrate only on Docker and Kubernetes. Let me say Ansible, I concentrate only on Ansible. Okay, so this will be a generic training where we will cover each topic at intermediate level, and if required, we'll just touch upon on the expert side and come back. But you say, no, I need the expert level of knowledge. Let's go ahead and do that. We have a option of doing that also. Hopefully this answers your question.
How about the projects, Vikas?
See, when it comes to project in DevOps, I'll give you one full-fledged real-time project, which you can also put it in your resume. So let me say you have 5 years of experience. So you can easily portray yourself as 3 + 2, means 3 years on your previous experience and 2 years on this DevOps. So the training which we'll be doing will be so robust, so hands-on oriented. Like when they ask you questions, you will be able to relate to the training which you have done. You will be able to relate to the hands-on work which you have done. And with that, you'll be able to answer those questions. So this is what my training will be. This is how it will be. So DevOps, one project, and on AWS side, one project. Major project I'm talking about. Small, 2-3 projects will come that I'm not counting right now.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more question, guys?
Hello, Kumar. This is Amar here.
Yeah.
You are telling about lot many modules and all these things. Can it is possible to cover all these things in 60 hours?
That's what I'm saying. It is approximately 60 to 70 hours. Okay. And trust me, I have been training from last 7 years. Earlier, I was teaching Java. From last 4 years, I have been teaching DevOps and Kubernetes and all those things. I have been doing it with a very good success rate. So trust the trainer. I will do that. And it will not be like a bouncer, everything going over your head. Each and everything you will understand, and then only we'll move ahead.
Yeah, right. And sir, there is some kind of batch timing flexibility is available, or you're taking fixed time slot?
For flexibility is definitely available, but for me, I will tell you, I do take classes only in the morning hours, because I'm a working professional. Once I get into the office work, I don't know when I'll be coming out of that. And with this lockdown thing, everybody thinks that we are at home and they will dump us with a lot of work. So I think most of you might be facing it.
No, I don't take night classes, night slot.
We will arrange for that. In case you need specifically night classes, we have different trainers. We have certain other ways of making it happen. So our coordinators will get in touch with you and they will let you know how we can work on this.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Do we get a recorded session?
Yes, you will be given. So the daily classes will be recorded and it will be shared with you, so that you at your own pace can go ahead and revisit the topic. And if you did not understand anything, just go through the recordings, try to understand. If in case that is not helping you, come back and say, hey, hi, I did not understand. Hello, can you repeat it?
Hello. Do you provide the labs as well?
No. Lab and all is not provided by me. So what you basically do is, like, let me say for AWS. So for AWS, you create your own account, something like this. So you get a free account with Amazon. So free AWS account. Or when you create an account with Azure, you get $300 there as a credit. So you create your own account, you have your own email address, own phone number, own credit card. So if you mess around with that, you pay for it. I'm not paying for that. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, actually, I'm 2018 passed out. I don't have any IT. I mean, the software experience. How can I manage that?
See, boss, one thing I will tell you, that if you don't have IT experience, but still you want to make a career in IT, you will have to put extra effort.
Yes.
That you should be ready with.
Okay.
So if you're ready with that kind of attitude, that, okay, if my friend who is there in IT has to do 2 hours of hard work, I'm ready for 4 hours, then you can make a career. And for everyone, I'm saying, for everyone, there is a first time. I may have started in 2008. Okay. But for me, 2008 was the first time. For you, 2021 is the first time. So that is okay.
Sir, I mean that I need to put any, I mean that experience or you are sending like a pressure.
My training will be sufficient. Don't worry on that.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Anything else, guys? Fine. So let me just move ahead a little bit. I will go into AWS, and now we'll talk about AWS. And I see a question in the chat window. Can you explain the sort of project you will be doing? Vamshi, I'll just tell you towards the end. Just give me some time. Okay. Fine. So now we talk about AWS. So when I say AWS, okay, it is Amazon Web Services. Web Services. Web means website. So when I say website, you all understand that if I do something like this, if I go to Google and I say best Andhra food in Bangalore, best Andhra food in Bangalore. Okay. So I get these many results, but here I'm not interested in the results. I'm interested in this thing. So if you see this particular thing, this is called latency. Latency is nothing but it is the time taken for your web request to go to the server. So you are also connected to the internet, like how I am connected. You may have some Airtel broadband or anything like that. So your request goes to the server, comes back. So this particular thing, this server is what is responding to your request. So here, why am I talking about server? So when I talk about server, this server is nothing but it's a machine which has a CPU, RAM, data, storage, and all those things. It comes with a lot of CPU, lot of RAM. Basically, I'm talking about cost of the server. So when you think like a startup, I'm a new company. I just want to start a company. Earlier, the scenario was that the company is asked to invest a lot on hardware. Let me say if one server is 5 lakh rupees and you are asking me to buy 10 servers, I have to invest 50 lakhs just to buy the hardware. Not only that, I have to hire people who do server maintenance for me. I have to hire people who do traffic network management for me. Not only that, the amount of data with which I'm going to deal with, the kind of data with which I'm going to deal with has changed drastically. Earlier, I used to deal with structured data. Now I am dealing with semi-structured and unstructured data. So if the data has changed, the way we process should also change. So there is where cloud comes into picture. So cloud says, why do you buy things? You don't have to buy anything. I will give you all what you need, and that too as on pay-as-you-go model with high availability, high security. It will be economical. If you have large network access, I will give you everything, and I will give you easy maintenance. So net, it is saying that you don't have to worry on anything. Just host your application or bring your data to the cloud environment, and I will take care of everything. So is it like my day-to-day life has changed? Yes. So if I was doing a training 7 years back from now, and the student says, sir, I need the study material, I will say, come with your pen drive. It is there in my laptop or it is there in my desktop. I'll give you from there. But now do we do like that? We say, this is my Google Drive location. Go ahead and take it. 5 years back from now, how many of you just went ahead and were listening to a music online, or you were watching a movie online? But now we are watching everything online because everything has slowly started moving to cloud. So we are no more restricted to a particular hardware. And this is what cloud is. Irrespective where you are, whether you are at a data center, you are at home, you are anywhere, you are, one second. So irrespective where you are, you can very well connect yourself to the cloud and get what you need. So you can collect your mobile, your application, your database, whatever you want, you can connect. So when this is coming, what are the cloud, what I have? So I have multiple cloud vendors with me. So there are public cloud, there is hybrid cloud, and there is private cloud. So I'm not interested in private cloud or hybrid cloud. I'm mostly interested in public cloud. So when I talk about public cloud, I have 3 major players in the IT industry right now: AWS, Azure, and GCP. Obviously, AWS is the market leader, and Azure and GCP are following like second and third position. So why am I showing you this? Because there is a big confusion in people. They say, sir, if I learn AWS, can I go ahead with Azure and GCP? Definitely yes. Because if you know how to drive a Yamaha bike, you'll also know how to drive a Honda. You'll also know how to drive a Hero, Hayabusa. Any bike you will be able to drive. Yes, the gear system will be little up and down, but you will be able to. So this is a list of companies who are using AWS, a big list of companies. And what is AWS in that case? You're saying that AWS is this, that. What is AWS? So AWS is a secure cloud platform which offers compute power, database, storage, content delivery, and other functionalities which will help your business to scale and grow. And the benefit is that it comes with a pay-as-you-go model. It is scalable, it is secure, so it comes with a lot of benefits. So what we do in this training, what we do is we take some 20 plus services, all the major services which are being used in cloud AWS right now, and we make a project out of this. So from day one, we start the project. We implement this in a hands-on oriented manner. Okay. No theory, like I will dump you with a lot of theory. No, 80% of the content will be hands-on oriented, and you will learn new concept every day. So the requirement from your side is that on a day-to-day basis, please be regular, please attend the classes. If you're not able to attend the classes, please go through the videos and ask relevant questions. Once you are done with the training, I'll also help you with certification. So my training will be at this level. At this level, you can easily crack this associate level exam. You can choose your path. You say, I want to be an architect. You say, I want to be an operations guy. You are very fond of coding. You say, I want to be a developer. So it is your call which career track you want to pick. And from there, we can say sky is the limit, and you can have n number of job opportunities. And the good thing is supply demand. So if I learn Java today, okay, there are limited number of Java openings, but there are huge number of folks who know Java. But if the same effort I put on AWS and DevOps, I can do wonders, and the pay is huge. Okay, so if you are a quality DevOps engineer with 5 years of experience and you say, I want 25 lakh rupees in India, companies are paying you for that, because there is a huge demand of quality DevOps engineers, quality cloud professionals. So this is what we do in the training. We make you a complete professional and in a hands-on oriented manner. So you come with your own cloud account. I'll help you to create that cloud account, and you do practice along with me when we are doing the training. Okay. Now, coming to the project, I'll give you 2 projects. One will be on the DevOps side, which will be a CI/CD implementation of a Spring Boot application. So I will show you how this Spring Boot application will take a case study. We'll say, okay, this is what customer is saying, and I have to do this thing. And then we implement it on a DevOps platform. We will see how Kubernetes comes into picture, how Terraform comes into picture, and all those things. Then we will come back to this AWS side, and we will implement a web server from scratch. How can I implement a web server from scratch? Second thing, we can also work on a migration project where I will show you how we can migrate a on-prem application to cloud environment. Okay, so this is what we do end to end. Approximately it takes some 60 to 70 hours. 2 months is what we talk about, and we have 1 hour class every day. Once you are done with the training, I help you with certification, mock interviews, resume preparation, and obviously I refer you at multiple locations. I have multiple students who are placed at various locations, so I just refer you. But trust me, you will not need any reference. The moment you upload your profile to Naukri and LinkedIn and all, easily you can get a job. Okay, so quality is what matters. Coding skill required, yes, little bit of coding skill like Python, Java, and shell scripting and Unix will be required. So not huge, but little bit, yes. So I'll stop here now. I'll open it for you people to ask questions. So I'm happy to answer any relevant question which you will be asking.
So you talk about Python, Java, and shell scripting.
Yep.
So will you give little bit exposure on that as well?
Yes, yes. Because when you talk, let me say you talk about AWS. Okay, so in AWS you have a component called Lambda. So Lambda needs Python coding, or the coding can be done in multiple languages, but we generally prefer Python. And in Python, there is something called Boto 3. So Python Boto 3 is what we need to do that coding. But trust me, these are high-level languages which are very easy to understand and very easy to begin. But I'm not teaching you Python full-fledgedly. So don't worry that a lot of coding will be there. But yes, little bit of coding will definitely be there.
Okay.
Because just a small query. So here you have seen we are having multiple associate and in associate you can see architect, operations, and developer. So for developer, definitely we need to have a development background. For
Not required. You see, you can develop a skill at any point of time, right? It is not like you should have a development background, but yes.
Okay, so when it comes to architect level, so exactly what the person or spot can become an architect in what are the knowledgeable
See,
things he should be having in his curriculum.
majorly you are more into the design part of the application rather than sitting and coding and all. So if you come here, no, in the software development
So
life.
basically, I am from a project management background. I am a like PMP certified. So I just want to understand.
You basically land here in this area.
Okay.
You land here. If you go for a developer thing, you land here.
Okay.
And if you go for sysops, you land in this area.
Yeah. Clear. Understood.
Yep.
So it depends on what is the my things will be requirement.
Yes. What is your skill set?
Designing.
Where is your interest? So you choose a path for yourself.
Sure.
And because cloud is very new, no, so people will accept it. That okay, you want to do this, go ahead and do this.
Okay. Okay. Clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Because what exactly is needed to become an AWS developer? I mean, AWS certified developer. What exactly is needed?
See, if you say that I want to become a developer, there are various components of AWS. Okay, like there is something called Cloud9. Cloud9. Okay, sorry, I came out of this or what? So basically, you need programming skills. So let me say you are with Lambda. You are working with Lambda. Okay. So here it says run code. So you have to run the code. So how can you run the code? So let me say, come here. I want to create a function. So I need a little bit knowledge of these programming languages: .NET, Go, Java, Python, Node.js, Ruby. It's not like everything I should know, but at least I should know one. So let me say I know Python. It works with me. Or there is something called EBS, Elastic Beanstalk. So here again, if you say that I want to run an application on EBS, okay, so you will again need those programming languages. So if I say I want to create a new environment, here, give some random name. So it says,
are you sharing something?
oh, are you not able to see it?
No.
One second, I should.
I can see the PPT.
Oh, sorry. Probably now.
Yeah, now it is okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was not sharing it. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, if you come here for Lambda, LAMBDA. So here you say, I want to create a function with Lambda. I'll teach you all these things, don't worry. Here it says you need a runtime environment. So basically these are the coding languages which it supports: Go, .NET, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby. So either one of them you should know. So let me say Python is one which is most widely used. So I should know Python. If I'm using a component EBS, Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk, I want to create an environment. I say I want to create a web environment. Let me say I give a random name to this. And here it says, give a name description platform. So here you can say, I need to know either of these programming languages: .NET, Docker, Glassfish, Go, Java, Node.js, Python, PHP. Some programming language I should know: Ruby, Tomcat. So Python is, I'll say, if you start, let's start with Python. So this is what you'll be needing, or you'll need these things.
Okay.
Fine. Guys, any more questions?
Any graduation okay for this?
Tell me again, I missed your voice.
I mean, maybe a degree and we take any graduation enough for this to learn to enter into.
No,
this.
no, no. See, I will take care of all the prerequisites. You don't worry on that, how.
Okay.
Yeah, Visa, because I have been working as a admin role like Linux and VMware admin. So what would be the better option for me?
Admin means you can very well go for sysops. So the DevOps path will be a good path for you because you might have seen deployments and all, monitoring and all. So that path will be really good for you.
Okay, like operations, right?
Hello. Actually, do we need to install Linux on my system for?
No. Everything we do on cloud. You don't have to install anything on your local machine. You do everything on cloud. So we go to cloud. So basically you create an account with AWS. I'm just giving you an example. Here you have something called EC2. Here you get virtual servers on the cloud. So we do everything on cloud environment. We don't do anything on our local machine.
Okay.
See here, I have some instances running. So if you see here, these are my servers which I'm running on cloud environment. So you create a free account with Amazon or GCP. So this is my Linux environment. So it will come up now. And if you see, it is very fast. It is internet based. I don't have to do anything. Amazon Linux. Fine.
Yeah, and one more doubt. If I complete the AWS, will I able to manage the OpenStack environment as well?
Yes, more or less all of the cloud providers are same. So this is what I was trying to show you here. So I did not use OpenShift because I've never worked on OpenShift. I've majorly worked on Azure and AWS, GCP to a certain extent. So this is what I've showed you. So if you learn AWS, the other cloud providers are more or less same.
Fine, thanks.
Yeah, hello. One more question.
Yep.
Is AWS account is sufficient? Free tier account is sufficient for all the functionality of?
See, 90% of them will be covered in the free tier. Okay. But 10% will be there, which will exceed the free tier limit. Okay. And there is where I will tell you that, see, this is not covered under free tier. If you want, you practice it. If you don't want, just see the videos which I'm doing and you can do that. But even then it is exceeding the free tier limit. It is not like it will cost you some 50,000 or 5,000 rupees. It will hardly cost you some 200, 300, max 500 rupees, not more than that. $10 is what max we assume. 750 rupees max.
Okay, thank you.
Because one quick question, this is Ashish. So you mentioned that DevSecOps, right?
Yep.
So what security aspect like a person should know when he's looking for a DevSecOps?
The security options, like so a very simple question. How do you secure your Jenkins server on a cloud environment? Very simple. So Jenkins server is running on cloud. How do you secure it? So this is how we learn. How can I secure my Jenkins on a cloud environment? Cloud itself is secure, but on top of that, you're putting Jenkins server. So how do you secure that server is what we'll be talking about.
Okay. So if somebody is talking about DevSecOps, means what are the security methodologies we are going to use on the different application? Or
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Yep.
Will be this a regular course or weekend?
It will be a weekday course, but in case you have a weekend, I have certain things which generally don't work. See, if you say weekend, no, we meet only 2 days in a month, 2 days in a week. So the progress is very slow. Okay. But if you squeeze your time a bit and you manage it in morning hours, we meet 5 days in a week. So the pace at which we cover is more, and the course will get covered in 2 months, or it will drag for 6 months, and you will see that you lose interest by the time the course is completed. So I personally don't prefer weekend classes. Weekday is what I prefer, but yes, weekend classes are also available.
So what will be the preferred timing?
Morning hours, 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. 8 to 9 probably.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, fine, guys. Then our coordinators will get in touch with you and they will let you know how to go ahead, what will be the fee and all those things. And then at any point of time, we can get in touch and we will discuss further. See you guys. See you for the regular classes from Monday onwards. Ask them to drop. And for those people who have not dropped their phone number, please drop your phone number on the chat box to the host directly. Okay. Fine. Okay, guys, I'm leaving. So the host will take it from here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.